What up everyone, and thanks for stopping by my new channel called Let's Get Into It. In this channel we're going to explore small engine problems and repairs. Now I will mention right away I am fairly new to small engine repairs and I'm learning it as I go. So as a little disclaimer, as of right now my content isn't necessarily meant for tutorial purposes. However, if you do learn anything from watching them, please put it in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe as more videos will be coming out in the future. I do owe a lot of credit to many YouTubers, for they have been my teacher these past few months and still are. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find all the answers I needed to tackle other problems with this mower that you will see in later videos. I had to just kind of figure it out on my own by trial and error. So being as how a few answers were very difficult to find is what inspired me to start this channel as a way to hopefully help another poor soul who doesn't know what they're doing and hopefully make finding answers less stressful. Again, this video in particular isn't a tutorial video, as you'll notice by the angle of the camera. I didn't have my tripod at the time and only had my phone and didn't have a good place to set it without it falling down. This video was actually originally meant just for family and friends, but after finding a free editing app on my phone and reasons previously mentioned, I decided to have some fun with it and see what I could do. At this time I do have a tripod for my phone, and after playing with the app I promise future videos will be better and more in depth. I'm actually working on a few more along with this one that dives deeper into everything I've done with this mower. Prior to this video I did remove the old carburetor and clean it to get it started, but unfortunately I didn't record the entire process, just the pieces that you see in this intro. Now, as I mentioned before, I am new at small engine repair, so I do make mistakes and point some out along the way. However, if you see anything not mentioned, feel free to leave it in the comments along with any tips and tricks. I do take constructive criticism well, for I like learning new things and I am enjoying this hobby. I just ask that you be nice, I am still learning. So in these few short videos that you're seeing throughout this intro, you can think of them as a little preview of what's coming up in later videos. Now I did have a main issue that you'll see later that took me way too long to figure out, and once I did, it turns out that the problem was staring at me the entire time and kind of made me feel a little dumb. However, as mentioned before, I am a novice and I do not have any previous knowledge in small engines. So in future videos you'll get to follow along in my process of learning and struggles, and best case scenario you get to learn with me. But in today's video all we're going to do is replace the old carburetor with a new one, and at the end you'll get to witness the issue that had the novice in me so irritated and quite honestly almost throwing the towel. But as you'll hear me mention in this video, I do have very specific reasons why I am not giving up on this project. So with that being said, let's get into it. What up guys, and welcome to this episode of Let's Get Into It. On today's part of this project, on this Toro 20093 self-propelled push mower, we're going to remove the old carburetor and replace it with a new one, along with the air filter as well. Here's the new carburetor, so let's get into it. And the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that we're wearing our safety glasses and any other protection that we might need. And right away I'm going to apologize for the bad camera angle. I wasn't planning on doing any editing in this video. However, in the future I do plan on making the angles a lot better so you can actually see what I'm doing. But for now I'll do my best to explain what I'm doing as I go. Right here I'm removing the 3 screws that connect the air filter housing to the carburetor. 2 of them connect directly to the carburetor, and then the third one off to the side, holding it more firmly in place. And once I get all 3 screws removed, I can remove the air filter housing from the breather tube, exposing the carburetor. And what you see me doing here is releasing the clamp from the gas line, that way I can easily remove it. The next thing that we're going to do is remove the gas tank from the housing, and to do that there are 3 screws on the top that we take out, allowing us to remove it. What I like about this particular setup is the gas tank is bolted right to the engine, allowing you to just tip the tank back without completely removing it. Now this part of the process may be unnecessary for what we're doing, but I did it anyway, so we're just going to go with it. And while I work on that, I'll give you all a brief background on how I got into small engines. It started at my job and one of our mowers wasn't working quite right, so I turned to YouTube on how to fix it and I managed to get it running properly. At that point, I picked it up as a hobby and decided to work on this lawnmower at home. This particular lawnmower used to belong to my girlfriend's dad, who unfortunately passed away about 5 years ago, so I'm putting my heart and soul into it, trying to get it up and running again like it used to. So at this point, the carburetor and the air filter is just a couple of many things that I have already changed out in this mower so far. The rest you'll see in other videos, however, there is a main issue that I couldn't quite figure out, which you'll see later in this video. So as you can see, with the screws removed, we can tip the gas tank back and disconnect the gas line from the carburetor. And this is pretty much why I tip the tank back, so when I remove the gas line, I can just have it sticking straight up in the air without having to clamp it. But however you want to do it is up to you. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is remove the 2 screws that connect the carburetor to the intake. So as I go through working on this project, I just want to remind everyone that I am pretty new at working on small engines. However, I am learning fairly quickly with no prior experience and no formal education in small engines. Everything that I've been learning has been primarily from YouTube and some Google searching. In this video I do make some mistakes, so someone with a well-trained eye and more experience than me, I'm sure will notice them right away, but I will point them out as I go. Okay, so what I'm doing here is removing the last screw that's connected to the carburetor. This screw connects the choke arm to the carb, allowing the choke to open and close. In this video, I'm not going to explain how all that works, however, I will get under the hood in a later video, explaining some of the mechanics of this type of engine and how this particular choke system works. After removing the choke arm, the carburetor should easily pop off the engine block, and the last thing to remove is the throttle bar from the plate. Some throttle plates have more than one hole, so just pay attention to which hole the bar is in for when you install the new carburetor. Carefully turn the carb and it should easily come off of the bar. So with the old carburetor removed, I can inspect it, and honestly at first I was debating on even changing it. I removed it a couple weeks ago and cleaned it, and the engine started up just fine without surging. However, as you can see, the gasket does have a small tear in it, and the gasket on the bowl was in rough shape as well. Also, being as how this mower has just been sitting in storage the past 6 years, and since a new aftermarket carb isn't that expensive, I decided to just replace it. So one thing I probably should have done is compared the old carburetor to the new one, just to make sure that they were the same. I did give the new carb a good look over after taking it out of the box, but it is always a good idea to compare any parts side by side to make sure that they are both the same part. And as you see here, we have the new gasket that will fit between the air filter housing and the front of the carburetor, and the O-ring that will fit on the back of the carburetor connecting to the intake. So right here I'm inspecting the old O-ring just to see if there's any signs of wear and tear, and it actually doesn't look too bad, but since we did get a new one in the kit, why not replace it? This will help avoid any future problems. And here's a little side-by-side comparison of the old O-ring on the left and the new one on the right. You can tell a difference, however the old one doesn't look too bad, so maybe I'll just hold on to it in case we need it for a temporary fix in the future. Alright, so what I'm doing right here is I'm putting the O-ring on the intake. Now in other videos that I've seen, there's been many times where I've seen them put the O-ring in the back of the carburetor before it gets placed onto the intake. However, everything did go together just fine here and everything sounded just great, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. Now I actually did just make a mistake right there when I'm putting the new carburetor on, and if you have any more experience than I do working on these types of engines, you probably noticed it right away. I do catch it and correct it before I get too far into the process, and I'll point it out to you in just a few minutes. What I did right there is I'm using the screw from the choke arm to hold up the carburetor so I can get the screws into it that connect it to the engine. And right here I'm comparing the old gasket to the new gasket, making sure that it's the right size and shape. So, with it looking like it should, next we're going to fit the new gasket onto the back of the air filter housing. On this particular air filter, there are 3 pegs on the back, which fit through the 3 holes on the gasket, holding it in place so you can get it onto the carburetor without it falling off. Alright, so here in a few moments we're going to get to that mistake I previously mentioned. I'm just glad I was able to catch it before I got too far in the process and had to take everything apart again. Alright, so right here is where I noticed that mistake that I made. Pretty much what I did is I forgot to reconnect the breather arm to the throttle plate before putting the carburetor onto the engine. That's pretty much the first thing that you want to do when reinstalling a carburetor or putting a new one on, is to connect that bar to the throttle plate. Otherwise your engine's not going to run. So when replacing the carb, just turn it sideways, allowing the bar to pop in the hole on the throttle plate, then turn it upright to secure it and push it back on the intake. And from here I can proceed from where I left off before noticing my mistake. This is a perfect example of how important it is to take your time and not rush to avoid making mistakes, something that I tend to do a lot, as you'll see in other videos. And as you see here, I'm putting the screws back onto the carburetor that hold it onto the intake, and in just a few moments we're going to replace the air filter. And the last screw to put in is the screw that connects the choke arm to the carburetor. So here's the top view of the carburetor. The piece on the top is the throttle, and the top hole is where the bar connects. The piece below that is where the choke arm connects, and the space cut out on the right, allowing the choke to open and close. And our final task of this part of the project, before getting it on the ground to start it, is to replace the air filter. If you noticed in the intro of this video, the old air filter was just completely packed with dirt and debris. You'll also notice that there is a green pre-filter that I put in there, and I actually had to remove it because it was too tight and I wasn't able to get it on there properly. And also, in the intro of this video, I did mention that this video was originally meant for just family and friends. I wasn't really planning on making a YouTube video out of it, but I decided to do it anyway. So you do see me talking throughout the video, and that's mainly because it was for another purpose. And right here I'm explaining the right way to clean these air filters. You want to try to avoid blowing them off with air because it could damage it. Instead, you just want to lightly tap it on the ground to get any loose dirt or debris out of the air filter. So with that being said, let's wrap up this part of the project so we can get it on the ground and start it up. We're just going to put in the new air filter and then reconnect the gas tank, and then we'll get it on the floor. Alright, so with the motor on the ground, you'll notice that I have the blade brake clamped down, and that's because the kill switch was destroyed, so the only way to shut it off is to disconnect the spark plug. Once I start it, listen close and you'll hear the issue that had me baffled and irritated for a long time. Again, keep in mind that I am new to small engine repair, so certain noises didn't instantly tell me what a particular issue may be at the time. Take a listen and let me know in the comments what you think it is. Alright guys, so there it is. Let me know in the comments what you think the problem is, and please follow along with me in later videos while I tackle this project and others. I'm open to any advice, tips, and tricks that you may have to offer. I know I do make mistakes in this video, and you'll see me make many more later. Please point them out if I haven't already to help me in my learning experience. As I said a couple times already, this video was originally meant for family and friends, so I do apologize for the bad camera angle. It will get better and more in depth in later projects. So, have a good day, and I hope to see you in the next video.